Hello and welcome to day 15 of the hashtag July postcard play hosted by Carrie Griffiths. So today I wanted to explore gold leaf and leaf adjacent products on the Gelplate. I did these two prints about a month ago on a live stream. So this one's done using the Cosmic Shimmer Gilding Flakes. I think there's other products similar to this one. I don't know if this one's still available, but there's the ISBN if you want to check it out. And this one here was done also, this was a stencil mask from Marte Studio. This was also done through a stencil. And this was using the sheets of Marte copper leaf, which is a brand that in Canada we have available at HomeSense. So these come and go. But this is a very inexpensive leaf system. And the nice thing about using gold leafing products on the gel plate is you don't need a glue because it sticks to your gel plate, sticks right on there, and then you lift it up with acrylic paint and then that seals it in. Now, first time I saw someone use gold leaf on the gel plate was Patty Tully Parish several years ago. And I have done it then. If you notice, you do get some interesting crazings there, but it is hard to get it through the stencil. So I was at a stream by Rosemary Morris lately, and she had been doing some gold leafing on the gel plate. And she mentioned that Elizabeth St. Hilaire had recently done a video about it. So I went back and I looked at Elizabeth St. Hilaire's video, and she used a product similar to this, but it came in a baggie. And she liked using that with stencils on the gel plate. So I found that a similar experience. And they also noticed that using the leafing through a stencil was difficult. So her friend, I can't remember her name, just used the gold leaf, like she fully covered the plate. And then she rolled her gel plate to make it crackle. So I'm going to still try to use this through a stencil, not like one of my stencil designs, this one here. And I'm going to try to do that to get more crackles than what this one gave. So hopefully that's going to work out well. This is one of my stencil designs from Marte Studio. This is the 8x10 version. It comes in a 5x7 and a 9x12. And they do their stencils on thick 74-pound Yupo. So it's sturdy, but you still have to be careful, especially with the mask. You have to be just a little bit cautious when you're pulling it up, when there's thinner connectors, but I'm going to use that today. And for the focal point, I'm going to use one of these images, probably this one or something in some way. And this is from a Collage Soups Book, neither here nor there. And that reminds me, I am having a giveaway at the end of July 2024. And if you want more details about that, check out my live stream from July 10th, and you'll get some interesting info. So instead of using the numbers 1, 5, oh, by the way, these are from a die cut set I have from Stamping Up. They're a big shot there. I'm sure they're retired, but if you can get them used, it's large number framelit dies 140622. So you might be able to find those secondhand. What I did is I cut them out using some thick cardstock. And my plan is, instead of using this number, I'm going to use the negative of the number to put this Cosmic Shimmer through. And then we're going to use that other stencil as the, to use the gold leaf sheets. Although I have copper leaf, gold leaf, copper leaf, same thing. They're not real gold. My plan is to have that be at the bottom half of the postcard. So I'm just going to put the numbers near the bottom. Our postcards are 4x6, and this plate is 5x7. The other thing that I found very helpful on Elizabeth St. Hilaire's video is she talked about using your silicone craft mat to make cleanup easier using some packing tape. So we'll demonstrate that in a moment. So this is a bit messy. You don't want to be having a fan going on. You don't want to sneeze. Trust me, you don't want to sneeze. And you can pick these up. I find, she didn't use this, but you can usually pick these up using like a brush. And then you can pat them down. So that's why these These flakes are nice because they do go into the stencil holes well, and you're not having to clean up a lot on the solid part because you can kind of direct it. And these Cosmic Shimmer Gilding Flakes, they do come in different colors. This one is Harvest Moon. And like I said, I don't know if they still sell these or not. I got these quite a few years ago. So you just load up your opening, and like I mentioned earlier, the flakes will just stick on the plate, and then I'm going to use my fingers to press it down. And this one has some pretty pink pieces. Well, more violet, I suppose. See that nice, there's a nice violet one there. Okay, so I've zoomed in a little bit. See that shimmer with the different colors there? I'll be able to show you better once we pick it up. See, my breath moved everything. So if we get some along the edges here, I'm not going to worry too much because I have that trick now that Elizabeth St. Hilaire showed us. So I'm going to just press that down with my fingers now for a bit and see if we can fill up that space. You can rub it, and then any of the excess you can put back on. Because I do want this like solid. So some of these doubled up a little bit. And then when Patty Tolly Parrish did it, she would have little flakes left over for a few streams, but Elizabeth also used the packing tape to get the excess gilding flakes off of your plate, which I thought was super smart. So I want these numbers totally filled in. And it just self-sticks to the plate because the jelly plate is a little bit tacky, isn't it? So I'm going to keep doing that till it's full. So one last little rub here, and then I'm going to lift this off. I'll try to dump some back in there, but if it goes on the mat, I'm not going to get too worried about it. So I've just been brushing this back on, rubbing it, and brushing off with my finger. Okay, so I'm going to try to collect that in a little bunch. Hope it doesn't jump off when I lift this up. This is a really thick cardstock. So you can see sort of the static working. Zoom out a little bit here. And then I'm going to try to just kind of brush some of it back in there. And then you want to close that. Now this piece I don't like right there. Kind of fell off when I was taking off there. So I lifted that one off. Okay, close that up so the air doesn't carry it around. And then I'm just going to tap it so it goes onto my silicone mat. You can see how it's all multicolored. Next, I'm going to put this stencil over top of that. I'm just using my frame to kind of decide where to put this other stencil and do that. Now I'm thinking I'm going to try not to use this area for the gold leaf. So when Elizabeth St. Hilaire's friend, I apologize, I can't think of her name, she just put whole sheets of the gold leaf onto a big plate to break it into smaller pieces. So this one is already in smaller pieces from when I did my other one. And I think I'm just going to pick it up with my finger. And I'm just going to plop it on there. Now the trick is with the stencil lines, it is hard to remove it from the stencil lines, so I'm going to try to do it manually. So I'm going to keep ripping off large sections like that. I'll put this on fast forward, and this is going to take me a little while, so when I'm done I'll let you know how long this took. So here I'm just showing you, I'm taking the next leaf and it comes on this paper, and mine's getting stuck, I think because it's old, but in theory you can just lift up the whole leaf. And I'm also finding that because this stencil design is fairly simple, if I go over just lightly with my fingernail over where the Yupo is, I can kind of burnish it in there so that when we take the stencil off, the gold leaf won't come up with the stencil. That's my hope. I just want to cover my 15 here a little bit more, because when I start rubbing off that gold leaf, I don't want any of it to fall in this area that I'm blocking out, and make it pop. And I don't have to do all the way around because, like I said, I'm only doing a 4x6 postcard. So I have to go out and up here a little bit more. This is a little tedious. It might be better to do that full sheet technique that Elizabeth's friend shows. So she picked up the whole leaf and plopped it on the plate. I just find that with this pattern, I want to see where the pattern is, and I want to be able to have that pattern in there. That makes sense? Just start rubbing that, and then where it's over top of my stencil, I'm just kind of scratching the stencil with my finger, not the jelly plate, to expose the Yupo, and trying to keep the gold leaf on the plate. So just to be clear, when I'm rubbing on the gel plate, I'm using the ball of my finger, and then when I'm exposing it along the stencil line, I'm just gently using my fingernail, but just on the Yupo, not on the gel plate. You don't want to dig your fingernail into your gel plate. Okay, so that took me about 20 minutes. It's not perfect, but I'm going to show you, like, if you don't, I'm going to use this section up at the top here to show that if you don't rub it away from the stencil, a lot of it will lift up, because I'm not going to be using that part, so that's sort of our control section. I think it's definitely easier to do the technique that Elizabeth St. Hilaire's video showed, where you just take the whole leaf and you plop it on your plate, rather than trying to carve out a stencil. But I was being stubborn. I wanted to do it this way. All right, so I'm going to take this masking off, and you can see, like, this, it doesn't stick to this because this is not sticky paint. Okay, so we're gonna lift this off, and I want a I'm hoping, I'm gonna have one more last rub here, because where this gold leaf is doubled, it's possible that it won't pick up very well. See, and that's why I should have kept this on here. So when I'm doing that vigorous rubbing, I kind of want to not have any extra go where my number is. That's just my personal preference. Cracks. Okay. I'll lift that up. Let's pull this up, the big reveal. This way now. So you can see here, if I had just laid the sheet over and pulled up my stencil, it does not give me a good stencil outline. See how that just pulled up and then it went back down? So that's why I really tried to burnish it over the stencil line so that I would get the spaces. It's not perfect, but see up here, you can see that where the stencil, I had put the leaf over top of the stencil. See how it pulled up? And then it just kind of, you don't get the stencil design. So that's why I kind of carefully was burnishing. And I'm just gonna pat this all down before I roll the stencil. And then I'm hoping we're gonna get lots of cracks and stuff. And our 15 is still there. So let's roll this and we'll see. So there's a little bit of crazing, but she showed like when you roll your stencil, how it cracks it. When you roll your jelly plate, you get that cracking effect. I've got like a little bit of a double layer. I'm not gonna, I could take it off my paper, but I don't want to. And here I can see, I don't know if you can see here, I've got double layers. The cracking's not showing. So I'm just gently picking these off. But some of these extra pieces are going to end up on my brayer, but that, you just need to wipe it off right away with the baby wipe. Okay, so some of the areas cracked really well, especially the areas that only had one layer. I'm going to pat it down. So I don't think the gold shimmer paste, or not shimmer paste, shimmer flakes are crackling as much as the gold leaf sheets. Before I pull that, I'm just going to show you how she cleaned up her the area around. I just need to get my packing tape. Okay, I couldn't find my packing tape, but I did find this double stick tape. So I'll just show you using this. I'm just going to cut off a piece. So you just use your packing tape and you just kind of push it down on your mat. And because this is a silicone mat, it grabs it. So if you've got a big area of the gold leaf, then you can just use your packing tape and push it down. I didn't have a big mess, so that's basically the idea. And that corrals it. She just threw out her packing tape, but because this is double stick tape, you could actually keep adding to it, and then you could use it as washi tape. Forgot to mention that not a lot of that gold leaf gets stuck on your stencil, so I thought that was important to mention. So I couldn't decide on a color, so I'm going to do an ombre from this turquoise to this alizarin crimson. I'm going to rotate my plate this way. Too much blue on there. Take a little bit of the blue off. Wipe those. Get my postcard down first. Fingers crossed. Give that a good little press. And then I'm going to just thoroughly wipe my brayers that I used. So I had too much blue on there. That's going to take a while to dry. And I'm just going to get all these little pieces off. We're going to let that sit. Give it another good press. And then we cross our fingers. And the brayer off paper will have little bits embedded in there too, but you can just kind of make sure they get stuck down, and you can use that for something. So it's been a few minutes. Let's take a peek. Okay, let's give it a try. Please excuse the noise. So I think our 15's okay. Oh no. Oh no. I forgot I had to put my 15 on backwards. Oh my gosh, some of you are probably yelling, no, your 15's backwards. That is too funny. Okay, I'm just gonna... Oh man. So we'll have to redo the 15. We'll have to make a little button. Oh my gosh. So I totally forgot. If you're pulling your jelly plate, you've got to do it backwards. All right, so I'm going to pull a medallion of the 15. I'm going to do the same technique. I'll be right back. Okay, I actually decided I'm going to pull this with a light olive green.
Let's go this way. I can't believe I did that. That's so funny. Everybody messes up. All right.
Okay, and don't forget to wipe your brayer. So you can use your double stick tape on the gel plate or the packing tape, and that helps to pick up. She showed that helps to clean your plate. So that's a great trick. So I'm just adding to that. It's picking up the paint and the extra gold leaf. So that was another trick I learned from Elizabeth and her friend, Elizabeth St. Hilaire and her friend, is to use your packing tape to pick up your, to clean up your plate after doing this. While that's drying, I'm going to decide on my collage element. Initially I was thinking this lady. Let's cut her out and see. Okay, so I fussy cut her out, and it might be when you want it on the other side. It was already something that I had done an image transfer with, so I don't mind cutting this out. And I'm thinking, oh, I didn't really show you up close, the crackles. So here you can see how that crackled on the blue. That looks really cool. Here on the crimson. I'm going to do image transfer with her in purple. For the Collage Soup books, I do like my golden fluids better. So I'm going to use this one. But you have to be quick. I'll use my little brayer. So you want it thin, but not too thin. Looks pretty good. And I'm going to just put her down. I left a bit of a halo around her so that I'd know where to fussy cut her. Pull that up. Hopefully it worked. Looks good. I could have put her down a little bit. Uh-oh. Actually, if we wipe that back, that will give us options. See, I shouldn't have put it back down. I'm not having a good jelly plating day, am I? So she's going to be a little bit distressed. Gonna let that dry and then we'll pull it. Let that dry. We'll try her one more time. See which one we like better. I think we'll pull this now. Should be ready. All right, so there we have our 15 the proper way around. This is called yellow pink. So I'm not convinced I'm gonna love this. Okay, let's try this one more time. So some days jelly printing comes easy, and sometimes it's a little bit more of a struggle. So I'm going to try this one. I had a little bit of pink left in there, so I'm not sure how that's going to look. Try that again, and I'm just going to use that. Give it a good rub. See if we get a good secondary transfer. A better rub there. So that one worked better if I don't drop it on there. So let that dry and then we'll pick it up. We'll see how this pink looks before we decide what to pick it up with. Not sure if I'm loving the pink or, ooh, this one, bronze. I'll use the bronze. And again, this is another reason I love mixed media, is that you can layer. If you don't like something, just layer it, right? Add another layer. Let's see how she looks. This one was a bit of a struggle bus, so I don't think I included all the footage because it got very long, rabbit hole, and trying to dig myself out. So I probably cut off after I remade my numbers in the correct direction. I don't think my brain was on today. So I ended up fussy cutting the numbers out, and I didn't use the die cut because I wanted a lot of the green to show around it. So I didn't die cut them, I actually just cut them with scissors, and then I edged them with this archival Villainous Potion ink, using a little foamer thing. And for the lady, I did the image transfer from Collage Soup using the golden fluid. I probably showed that in dioxazine purple. The first one I pulled with a light pink. I didn't like it, so the second one, I did it again. I repeated it, and I pulled it with this bronze because I thought the bronze went well with the leafing there. And then I had the edging from when I pulled the initial postcard. There was like a border up here from the top, so I decided to cut that into strips and put it on the bottom. I inked the edge of the strips and the postcard with the same archival ink, and then I also went around them using this Faber-Castell Pitt Pen Purple Violet 136. This is an India ink, so it's permanent. And then after I glued them down, these things down, I went around and did some shading using the Inktense Violet, Intense Pencil Violet, and just a water brush to activate it. I also did a quick image transfer of a little piece of jewelry that was on that same page, and I did a direct pickup using the green, leftover green that I had from when I did the numbers. And then I decided that, well, how are we gonna bring this all together and make it, you know, look like it was all intentional, is I decided to move the numbers. Instead of having them here, I moved them up here so that this could be her earring. So then I put a jewel there so that that's her earring. And then I balanced it using a green jewel on the other side and an earring. And I put some jewels into that bigger piece of jewelry that I put on her head. I also did kind of touch up the eye portion of my transfer using the same Faber-Castell Pitt pen. So that's the finished card, and I do like how this did crackle, and just to show you again that when you rub on it, the paint seals it in. You don't need to use glue, and I do like how the bronze image transfer worked with that, and I do like how the blue and the crimson sort of transition, and that's where we brought the purple in after having that transition there. And I liked bringing the balance of the top down here with these two strips that were left over. So the fun part about mixed media is if you're not happy with something, you just keep adding layers or keep you know, working on it. The failed 15 is behind her and nobody would know, so shh, don't tell anybody. So thanks for watching. This was card 15 for Carrie the Crafter's #July postcard play, and I look forward to trying number 16. Hopefully it'll be a little bit easier and won't be such a struggle, but it was still fun. I'm happy with the result. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.